Welcome to another video from explainingcomputers.com. This time I'm going to talk about ultra-high speed or UHS SD cards. These can be used for all kinds of purposes, including recording 4K video, but they can also be somewhat confusing because they're currently available with two different speed classes as well as two different connection interfaces. SD cards are sold in full-size or micro form factors and three capacity types. Specifically, standard SD cards are up to 2 GB, SDHC cards are over 2 GB and no more than 32 GB, and SDXC cards are over 32 GB and potentially up to 2 TB. UHS cards are only available as SDHC or SDXC, and it's important to understand that this capacity type has no influence on card performance. All SD cards are labelled with one or two speed classes, each of which indicates a minimum data write performance. Traditional SD speed classes are Class 2, Class 4, Class 6 or Class 10, with the number appearing in a letter C. UHS cards are additionally labelled with an entirely separate UHS speed class of either a 1 or a 3 inside a letter U. And, as you can see, traditional speed class 10 and UHS speed class 1 are actually the same, as they both guarantee a write speed of 10 megabytes per second. In addition to two speed class labels, UHS SD cards now come with two alternative bus interfaces. These are known as UHS-I and UHS-II and are indicated with a Roman numeral. The bus interface determines the speed of the electronics used to transfer data and is therefore distinct from the minimum write speed class. Until the arrival of the UHS-II bus, all SD cards had the same connection pins and looked physically identical. However, spin around UHS-I and UHS-II cards and you will see that UHS-II cards have a second row of pins. These are used for faster data transfers at UHS-II bus speeds, with the older pins maintained for lower speed compatibility when inserted into a non-UHS-II device. Right, we've now covered the theory, and to test out a UHS-II card in practice I've got myself this, which is a Lexar Micro UHS-II card. As you can see, it's got UHS-II indicated on the packaging to indicate a UHS-II bus, and a U3 as the speed class which it meets as a minimum, and it also therefore has to meet the Class 10 speed class minimum. As you can see, it comes with this nice little USB 3 reader, so let's get this all out of the packaging. And here we have the micro SD card, our UHS-II card, and it's also quite tiny USB 3 reader, and presumably I can put these together. Always fiddly to work with these tiny little things, but that will click in there, and that's quite a nice little combination, isn't it? You could keep that handily in your pocket. But for now, what really matters is the card itself. I can get it out. There we are, look, put it back down where you can see it. And what I'm going to do is to compare that card's performance to a card I use an awful lot, which is this one, which is a Sandisk Ultra UHS-I card. And just to prove that, to remind you what's going on here, if we turn these things over, you will see on the back our UHS-II card here has its two sets of pins, whereas our UHS-I card just has the one set of pins. So it's now time to do a speed test. Let's turn these things over, and I'm going to copy some data onto each of these cards, do a write speed test, a read speed test, and see how they get on. And here we are doing the write speed test. As you can see, I'm copying 2 GB of files to each of the cards, the Lexar UHS-II and the Sandisk UHS-I card. This is quite large files I'm copying, video files. I think there's 14 files in total in that 2 GB. So this is very representative of, say, you've been shooting video onto these cards. And as we can see, the Lexar card is certainly going to win. I guess if the UHS-II card didn't win, something would be wrong with the world as we know it. It would mean with no reason to upgrade whatsoever. But it's interesting to see how much faster it's going to be, and it's going to be quite a bit faster, isn't it? It's copying that 2 GB of data Very quickly indeed. Getting towards the end now. Will it get inside 50 seconds? I think, oh, it probably will. And yes, 47.2 seconds, managing almost 45 megabytes a second. That's a pretty good transfer from a micro SD card. I must admit I find it rather sad to watch this because the Sandisk Extreme card has been my real go-to fast micro SD card for so long now. To see it beaten by another card is really rather surprising. Seems to have a little blip there in the middle, something strange going on. But there we are, it's finished as well, 72 seconds, 30.7 megabytes a second, nearly 31 megabytes a second. So in this write test, we've found the UHS-II card here is about 1.52 times faster than the UHS-I card. And now you join me again doing a read test, and this is very fast indeed. Why doesn't Windows give us a display straight away on a copy, but it doesn't always? But as you can see, the Lexar card here, the UHS-II card, really speeding along. Same 2 gigabytes of files being copied in the opposite direction. And it's done it in what? 18.5 seconds, 136 megabytes a second. If that doesn't prove the value of having a UHS-II card in a UHS-II device, I don't think anything will. And again, the Sandisk card isn't doing that badly. It's going to copy it in, what's going to be 40 seconds maybe a little bit more. It's letting me down there, the Sandisk card, but it's certainly nowhere near the speed of UHS-II. One of the most definitive tests I've done for a long time. 43 seconds. Yes, I think Sandisk probably do a U3 card in UHS-I might give us a slight increase in speed, but really the fact that we've got a 2.32 times faster speed transfer for UHS-II speaks very well of the UHS-II interface being a major upgrade of SD card technology. As we've seen, UHS currently provides SD cards with both 2 new speed classes and a new connection interface. Because UHS-II transfers data over a new set of pins, it's also very important to appreciate that there's no point in buying a UHS-II card unless you've got a device that can access those new connectors. But now that's it from another video, and I hope to talk to you again very soon.